What's going on, people? What's really good? It's your boy Marv, and this is the Nerds in the Hood. Folks, I know we all watch a lot of TV. I know we all have our own streaming and binging, and we have everything that we love about streaming going on for us. And I always try to review the most popular TV shows out right now, you know, whatever's mainstream, whatever's popping. I try to catch up when I can. But I want to talk about something to me that it gets the love it deserves, but it's very underrated even after 3 seasons. That show is created by one of my favorite writers, which is Miss Mindy Kaling, and it is called The Sex Lives of College Girls. If you haven't seen this show, it is on Max right now. I believe it just finished its 3rd season because I didn't see a coming attraction for another episode after the last episode I just saw. It's 3 seasons in. It is a phenomenally funny show, and this was well needed for Mindy Kaling. If you don't know by now, Mindy Kaling has made such classics as The Mindy Project, Never Have I Ever, this show right here, Sex Lives of College Girls. It's just been rocking for her. Now, she did make Velma. She did make her reimagining. I will give her props for making Velma. I will give her props for that. But what I will also say is that even though it just wasn't a good show. But she gets props because she tried. A lot of us wouldn't have known what to do. We would have made another version of Scooby-Doo that everybody already seen. She tried to put something a little more Gen Z-ish, but it just didn't work out that way. And I respect you for trying. I give you the gold star for effort, the participation trophy. But going 3-1 ain't bad. Let's keep it real. And she got another show on the way on Netflix. So going 3-1 ain't bad. Technically, we could say 4-1 because she was one of the writers on The Office, which helped make that the hit that it was. So technically, we could say 4-1. You know, and there's other stuff she's done too. But for now, let's focus on this show. So this show just did its 3rd season, just wrapped up. We're going to say it did it. By the time you see this, it's probably done. If you haven't seen the show, long story short, it's about 4 women who start college in a college. I believe the college is like in Massachusetts or something. It's basically upstate in the USA. And they go to this prestigious school where everybody's in there and everybody's like, it's just college. Like everybody's partying, they drinking, they hooking up. And they go through the different trials and tribulations of dating life, but at the same time, they go through it while as college students. So imagine, if you will, Sex in the City, but they were all just college students, right? Miranda, all of them just college students. And they were still figuring out the world. But now you had that twist of Gen Z where it's like, you know, they're figuring out the world. They're asked to be more grown than they are now. They're asked to take more responsibility than they are. And, you know, they go through stuff like that. And there's different relationships, whether it's same-sex or, you know, man-woman. It's all of that stuff going down. And it's hilarious. Because it's not just about the dating. It's, like I said, it's a balance of college life, trying to be an adult, trying to do things on your own where there's no guidance of parents, and also just trying to make the most of your life. Like, I went to college, I graduated, thankfully, and those are 4 of, I'm not gonna lie, 4.5, but it was 4.5 of some of the most fun years of college I ever had the pleasure of just being involved in. I really, really, really had fun with this series. I have fun watching these ladies take this journey, and I hope that Max doesn't cancel it. This show also, for some people like myself, gave us an introduction into the pop superstar that is Renee Rapp. Let's just dive into that real quick. So there's 4 different characters on this show, right? And now technically there's more, but in the beginning there was 4 specific characters. There was a girl named Kimberly, who's played by Pauline Chalamet. Yes, you heard it right. Her name is Chalamet. She is Timothée Chalamet's older sister. There's Armit Carr, who plays Bella. There's Aaliyah Chanel Scott, who plays Whitney. And there is Renee Rapp, like I said, who plays Leighton. And she was later replaced because Renee Rapp started getting big, she started getting popular, and she had to leave the show. And that is where we are in this season. I'm not going to explain the first 2 seasons. You just kind of have to watch it. We're on the 3rd season now, and that's what we're going to focus on. So the 3rd season starts us off with Renee Rapp's character, Layton, realizing that she has to leave the school because she is too smart for the programs involved in the school, and she wanted something that was going to stimulate her academically and make her think better. Like, oh snap, I need to make these decisions and I need to do these things here. And she couldn't do that at the school she was at. Now, that is where it comes into play that she needed to go. She realized that she couldn't go. The name of the school they go to is called Essex University. And this school just, I believe it's fictional. I don't think it's like a real, but it's like a fake, imagine if you will, like a Yale or a Harvard. It's kind of up there in their fictional scale, but it's not there. They still have their problems. And one of those problems was their academic department wasn't as established as they thought it was. Or she was just too smart for the system. So they use that in the storyline to say that she can find another school that will challenge her academically the way she wants to, but she would have to travel if she wanted to stay in Essex to drive to that school. I think it was a DeVry or something like that. But anyway, she decided to take that risk and go there because also her character is a lesbian, and her character decided that her girlfriend that she was dating in the show was also moving that way to go take a job outside of college that she really, really wanted. So they both decided to pack it on up and move out to college and go start their lives elsewhere, which made for one of the saddest episodes on the show. It was the 2nd episode, and these girls were really legit crying because they built a sisterhood within those 3 seasons. And one of their sisters is leaving the nest. So that made for a tough episode because they were like legit. You could tell they wasn't faking those tears. Those were legit, like, I'm really going to miss you tears, and I can't believe this is over type tears. And you've seen this in different TV shows. When a character leaves or it's the last episode of the whole entire series, you can see the real emotion in some of those actors' eyes because they're like, yo, we ain't never gonna do this again together. You know what I mean? It's the chances of us linking up to do another project like this is very slim. And I'm gonna miss you because every day I showed up and it was me and you and it was me and him and me and her, and we was linking up and having a freaking blast. You know what I'm saying? I remember Cobra Kai was one of the last shows I saw them do that. It wasn't the last episode, but it was like one of the last fights they were having before that big brawl broke out. Spoilers. And you could tell that they were saying it from the script, but they were improvising and using their feelings when they were all like, "Dang, this is it." Because they realized like they're going to grow up soon. They're going to go to college. They're not going to be able to have time for Cobra Kai anymore. So it's not going to be their world. Their world is going to be given up to people like Kenny and some of the younger kids, Lil LaRusso and all them. So it was similar here where you watched these 4 women like group up and hug Layton and say goodbye to her because they knew that chances are she's not coming back to the show. And now it's tough. I think the only other time I was really like, damn, they might miss this character for me was obviously Michael Scott leaving the office. That was a major blow. And when Troy Barnes left Greendale, you Community fans, if you know, you know. When he decided to bounce, the show did take a different turn, but they were genius enough to build this arc where Abed really missed Troy and he didn't know what to do. But anyway, for me, this season was a bit of a drag and a letdown because I think it had a lot to do with Layton's character leaving the show. She was one of the funniest characters on the show because she already had a strong grip on life. You know, her character was raised, she was a legacy basically in the sense of the school because her dad was an alumni. And she already came in with this high standard of academic excellence, which is what led her to be able to even probably get into the school. So she already had an idea what she wanted to do in terms of love. She already had an idea what she wanted to do in terms of life and school. So it was like she was kind of one of those characters that was coasting. But the beauty of her character was she came in as a mean girl. She came in as this girl that was like, yo, I don't care. I don't really want to hang with y'all. Y'all not my friends. Y'all not my type of crowd. She tried to get in a sorority that matched what she thought was her mannerisms, and she quickly realized, I'm not about this life. This is corny to me. And she didn't want to do it. And as time progressed, she settled on the people that were around her. All the people that she loved were people that weren't like her. But it made her settle down and become just one of the locals. Like, yo, we out here chilling, man. I don't really care. And it made you love her as a character because she was, we all know that one person that's like, yo, you too high strung, fam. You need to like relax. And she was able to relax and not be so bougie and stuck up and be more just allowing everything to free fall and have fun. Because she was in a relationship with a girl that was just as stuck up as her, and she realized, like, man, that's me? That's terrible. And she didn't want to do it anymore and found a girl who was more a speed that she could prefer to be around, a speed that was more comfortable to her. So once that character left the equation, these girls were kind of just like lost at sea for a minute. And that's where I have to big up the MVP, because yes, we did get introduced to two new characters who tried to fill the void of what Leighton left the show with. But what they did was they split them into two nucleuses of what Leighton's character was built around. So they gave us Taylor, who was this girl who was gay, but also at the same time, she was a bit of a stuck-up, bougie kind of chick, but she was a recovering alcoholic. And then they gave us Casey, who was also stuck up, but she wasn't gay, but she was stuck up in a sense of like, she had this idea of the world that she was the best and everything was supposed to come to her and nothing was gonna like falter and fail because of who she was. And her arc was very different, but they both were like what Leighton was, just like split out. It was like a fusion dance, but the fusion dance became undone, or the 30 minutes was up. So these two characters tried to fill the void of what Leighton was, and I don't really think they did it that great, but they held their own. Casey really, her arc was very different, but her arc was very relatable to a lot of what college was. You know what I'm saying? A lot of her arc, she was a virgin whose boyfriend cheated on her by the time she even got to the school, and she was a transfer student because these girls by now are sophomores going on junior year. So she was a transfer student. She came through. She was living with them. She was like, yo, blah, 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 blah. And she was a virgin. She wanted to lose her virginity to this dude who took her virginity and immediately was like, yo, this is kind of whack. I'm off this. And her arc ended with her singing a rendition of a Broadway play song and knocking it out the park because she could really sing. And she had to deal with the trials and tribulations of the director just not really liking her and wanting to humble her when she didn't need to at all. So that was her arc, where Taylor's arc was more just about just trying to gravitate around the fact that you can't get everything you want neither. She tried to turn her roommate out. I know it got graphic right there, but let's be real. And her roommate wasn't with it. She tried to act as if she was the hottest chick on campus when she really wasn't. And she tried to get over her alcoholism through Bella, because Bella now has a job as a FAF, which in layman's terms just meant she was a RA. She just was a person who helped keep people out there. She got the job because the Swedish homeboy had to go. He was sick or something like that. So those two characters really did what they could, but they didn't keep the show's comedic approach afloat. Bella is usually one of the comedic forces to keep the show funny. But no, not this time, because she had her own arcs too that were very serious, with her coming out the closet, realizing she was bisexual, and her trying to be more of a mentor to the younger students like Taylor. No, the MVP of this show, make sure I'm getting her name right, was Lila Flores, who was played by, is her name also Lila? No, Ilia Paulino. I'm not going to mess up her middle name. You've probably seen her in other shows. She's currently in One Piece right now as Alvida. She lost a lot of weight because Alvida's character in One Piece also loses a lot of weight based on the devil fruit that she ate. So she looks really good. Good for her. But at the same time, She was Jordan out there. She was carrying this show on a comedic level that it needed to. Everybody was playing their part, but Lila's character was almost in every scene making jokes and making you laugh and giving this energy that needed to be given at a point where we lost it episodes ago. So we needed that. We needed that, and I want to give my flowers to her. She did her thing. Now I want to see you in everything because you're hilarious, sis. Keep going. You killing it right now. Not knocking out the other women of this show. Kim's character and Whitney's character, to me, they took a step back. Especially Whitney, because the last episode of season 2, you were upset because your last man, your boyfriend, who was your ex-boyfriend, Kanan, went and hooked up with Kim. You was upset. You was like, I'm not rocking with neither of y'all no more. Kanan matured and said, yo, you know what? I'm sorry. What I did was wrong. I shouldn't have did that with your friend. I was wilding. Kim apologized. She accepted the apology and got over it. For you to later just get back with Kanan? You had a good boyfriend. Yeah, he was a little stuck up sometimes. He was a bit of a jerk. But you had a good boyfriend, and you left him for a dude who, on a moment's notice, realized he loved your friend and not you. Not knocking that. Everybody has their own decisions, and they're entitled to them. But what I'm saying to that is that, yo, fam, that was wild. And she did have some redeeming points when, like, she tried to tell the athletics department of the school, yo, you guys are like enslaving us basically, and we can't take it anymore. Mentally, we need a break. But that quality was overshadowed by the fact of the decisions that she was making in terms of just leaving. Like, I'm not going to say her boyfriend Isaiah was a good dude, but I will say that, like, he didn't do her dirty. He just was looking at it more in the sense of like, yo, I'm rich, fam. I'm chilling. But that was one of her dating red flags, was dating other rich people, because she realized, like, when I date them, they just act like jerks. So it was a fair toss-up, but I just didn't feel like her arc was redeemed. I felt like it took a step back from the growth that she was taking for herself. Whereas Kim's arc also took, to me, a few steps back, because one minute she was standing up for herself because she was this gullible, happy-go-lucky Midwestern chick who just believed that, like, through sheer hard work and faith, hey, anything is possible, who then turned into, like, nah, but I'm not gonna let y'all just treat me like I'm just some gullible dummy. I'm real out here. I'm smart. And she was showing that when she was, like, signing up for, like, the classes and stuff. And the teacher, who was guest starred by Tig Notaro, was like, yo, fam, just do this and you'll be all right. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't do this. And she didn't listen. She said, don't date nobody in this program. She dated somebody in this program. And now they had a bad relationship now. Their relationship is toxic. She said, don't go to the protest. She went to the protest. Not only did she go to the protest, when the cops told her to leave the protest, she made a game plan with some other protesters, with a dude that she really was liking, and went and shut the whole school down because there was some guy who had said some harmful remarks that was coming on campus to speak. She shut down the whole Wi-Fi so he wouldn't live stream anymore. Got arrested, which I believe she got arrested by actual cops, not campus police. And that goes on her record. She might get expelled from the school. But there was one question I had with that whole situation. There was one question I had. She found a way to break into the school's, like, internet mainframe and all of that, and basically robbed them of the internet blind and cut off the power so the live stream couldn't go down. Genius move. I ain't gonna hold you. One of the ways she was able to break into that room was by stealing Bella's ID card and using it to make her way into the room. My question was, I know Bella was a RA. Don't get me wrong. She was a RA. She was like that was her title. But when did a RA's ID give you that much power in a campus to go anywhere you wanted? That was wild. I've never seen that. I've never seen somebody's ID card, because they're RA. Usually, if you have to be like a bigger staff member than that. It can't just be some simple RA. A simple RA just means I can get into this building and the places that are inside this building that you can't get into. I can't just go to, like, the campus mainframes where the computers and all of that is at and just use that to shut the system down. No. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Oh my gosh, Mindy, come on, fam. I was sitting there like, you stole Bella's ID card to sneak in here, but you can't get in there. That's wildin'. But the plan still worked. But now she has to face those repercussions when she comes back to school. Is she going to get kicked out? Is she going to get just like removed from all campus activities? Because sometimes that happens too. I have friends I went to college with who got in trouble, and they were like, yo, you can still graduate. You just can't do nothing on campus except class. You can't even eat on campus. So that's what I'm trying to say by this series. It was characters taking different journeys, and some of them were good and some of them were bad to me. But what I liked about this is that this show really explores what college is like in the 2020s, you know, because it came out before 2025. So this show really explores that in a really creative way. It's based on the lives of, now we'll say 5 women. Okay, well, we really did shine more of a light on Taylor, so we'll say 6 women. So it was based on the lives of 6 women, even though Renee Rapp's character left. And to me, it was interesting because they explored the lives in different ways. The way they date, the way they make thoughts about campus life, the way they made thoughts about college life. There was one other thing I didn't like. Now, we all know the expression, girls talk. We know that expression. I'm fine with that expression. I've heard it many times in my life. I got sisters. I know the vibes. But never in my life, never in my life have I watched a TV show where these girls tell all their problems to every single person, every party they go to. It's crazy. I know it's a TV show. I know these are sitcom things and it's a fantasy and these things kind of happen in a fantasy. I get that. I ain't knocking that. What I'm knocking is like, fam, what are we talking about here? Every party that they went to, and a lot of the parties was fire. They went to like raves. They went to a ball pit party, which was crazy. They went to a gay pride party. Like a lot of parties, like when they showed it on the show, that's what college is. Like sometimes you have these theme parties and they just be hitting. You be in there turning up. I've been to a phone party in college. It was amazing. Most fun I ever had. I didn't even care that my clothes were soaked. It's those kind of themes are cool. So for a lot of the characters to be coming into parties and going, you know, I'm just so worried about my psych major tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen. The teacher really thinks I don't have a shot at passing. In real life, they would have been like, fam, I do not care. I'm at a party. I'm trying to get wasted. The last thing I care about is what's going on in your life, in your class. If we ain't having some type of sexual relationship, I'm out of here. That's usually what happens in college. I'm not trying to sound like a pig or a jerk. I'm just keeping it a stat. If you was in college, you know the vibes. Nobody's standing there for that long at a party listening to you rant about your love life, your classroom relationships, your classroom activities. The most you'll probably get away with hearing a person say is, yo, bro, I ain't gonna hold you. I got this project due tomorrow. I should not be here. That's usually what you hear at a party. I got a test tomorrow, man. It's about to be wild. I should not be here. You usually hear stuff like that. Or if you passed or failed, you hear stuff like that too. Damn, I can't believe I failed, bro. I would be all right. That's what you hear in college. That's what they need to focus on next season. Less party conversations. I know it pushes the show forward. I know they have fun with it in a sitcom level. That's a trope that they do now. Go into parties and just like complaining about stuff at the party. No, music is too loud. You're not yourself right now. I don't want to hear you complain. We need to address that in season 4. Please, Mindy, if you ever find your way to watching this video, you do a good job with this show. I like what's going on. We just got to pull it back. We got to pull it back. Overall, this was not my favorite season of this series. Season 2 probably was my favorite season. This was not my favorite season. Let's get the rating system up there, please. This season, it was alright. It was alright. This season was alright. It wasn't valid, but this show is valid. So this season was more of like it just was like they were trying to find their place after their biggest star left the show. And they had some highs, like I said, like Ilya, like homegirl just taking over for the comedic level for the team. And they had some lows, like just that one episode where they decided to take a boyfriend test to see their boyfriend was the right one for them, the partner test, good partner test, whatever you want to call it. That episode was trash. The two episodes at the end were really good because they started to drive the story a little more home. And to see Casey really sing after her heart was broken was really great, because you watch the girls come together to tell them like, yo, and this part was relatable to any person of any gender, any race, doesn't matter. She was brokenhearted because the guy that she really loved left her right after he took her virginity. Now, to be fair, she was getting a little hype. She was sprung. We all been there. She got hype. They did it, and then she came on. She was like, you got to be my dad, my aunt. She started trying to say, we got to introduce you to the family, because that's what her mom wanted. And he was looking at her like, yo, this is all happening too fast. I just wanted to take this slow. And she was like, okay. And before she even tried to adjust the way he wanted, he was like, yo, I'm off this. This is crazy. So that was real messed up by homeboy. But she used that fuel to go on a play that she was like getting just gatekeeped for no reason, to give one of the most stellar performances I've seen on that show. And it ended it so like Mindy ended that so awesome. The season was all right, but that ending was chef's kiss. Because she ended it to let you know that like, we're going to get what we want. We are strong. That's who we are. This college life is building you to be a stronger person. So by the time you're 40, you just like, yo, I done seen it all, done been through it all. This is life. This is life, you know? So I commend Mindy on this show. I like it. And if you haven't seen it, see it now. It's like 30 episodes. They're all half an hour. And it's streaming on Max. And it's good. This season just was a bit of a step back, but that's okay. It can't all be perfect. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in season 4. I think that this has the potential to keep going into being another great show that she's made. I know one of the teachers was also on the Mindy Project too, if I'm right. I know that was a teacher trying to show Whitney like, hey, you know, like, it's okay to like do things that you want to do. Because a lot of her subjects were also like, these women were smart. They weren't just there because like their parents were filthy rich, you know what I'm saying? Because Whitney's character is the daughter of the senator, who was also played by, I don't know why I'm blanking on her name, Sherry Shepherd, who's also played by Sherry Shepherd. So Sherry Shepherd's here and there because of her talk show. She's not going to be on every episode. So when she is on, she does her thing too. But there was let me make sure I got the character on there. Yep. So not going to say her full name, but what I will say is she was on Sex Like a College Girl. She was the professor on there. And she did her thing. So be that as it may, watch this show. There's so much more I could say about it, but I'm going to keep it there. Watch the show. And write in the comments, let's talk about this. Share this with a friend if you have not seen this. It's a very underrated show, and I think it needs to be more overrated than underrated. Well, that's not a good thing, but you know what I mean. It needs to be more seen out here, more mainstream. Anyway, as always, you can follow Nerds in the Hood on social media with our link tree, which is in the description when you see our video. You can check out all the content that we're doing on there and so much more. But until then, this is your boy Marv signing out. Class is dismissed. Peace.